Hi everybody, I'm Trin Johnson and welcome to Dust in My Eye. So these are all my little palettes, or most of my little palettes. I tried to exclude any of the palettes that I just filled that came ready to be filled. Um, so these are all ones that I have done something special to in one way or another. There are a couple exceptions. Most of them are watercolor. There's a few gouache and some other miscellaneous ones. Um, so I'm going to go through them and just a smattering of my sketchbooks that go with some of them. And if that sounds like fun to you, please stick around and hit that like button. That would be wonderful. So I'm going to just organize this a little bit so that we can get started. So I know those all go together. Those are my little oddballs. There we go. There we go. And one of these doesn't belong in there. One of these things is not like the other. Those all go together. Do I have the right one? Nope. I think that goes together, yes. Okay. Okay, so I got them all organized a little bit here in different categories, and I'm just going to quickly go through them. Let's start with this one. This one, I bought this tin on Amazon and painted it with alcohol inks. And I have this painted with white so that I can, let me zoom in a little bit here. So I can mix colors on here. And this is all granulating paints, mostly from Schminke. There's a couple oddball ones, like this one is from Kremer. It's Iron Glimmer Violet. And these ones I mixed myself, so those ones are in there. But the rest of them, I think, are all Schminke's super granulating paints. And I put this palette together to get all of them in one place so that I could use them instead of having them in the tubes. I generally don't paint out of the tubes. I do very rarely, but once in a while. There are some conditions that you need to be able to do that, and that's when I do that. But that's that little kit. So that one is something I put together myself. Let's see, this one's rather an oddball one. I made this little kit, early on. It's got watercolor paper that's trimmed to fit in the box, and a little piece of paper towel, and a piece of sponge. I don't use sponge very much, but it was early on and I thought I wanted it in there. And this is an old Arbonne makeup kit that they no longer sell the inserts for. And I just put primary colors in here, and it was supposed to be a cute little box of fun. It's maybe didn't get used very much because it was just kind of fun to set up more than it was to actually use. Someday I'll figure out a good place to keep it so it actually does get used. This is another one where I just painted the box and filled it early on. This is all my M-gram paints, and a sponge in here too. You can tell how early it is because it has a sponge. You can also tell how early I made this one because they're all stuck down, not magnetized to the tin with the little magnet stuff. So, but this is an old palette, but it's a pretty box, and sometime I'm going to figure out a good place to put that one too. These three are boxes where I put things that I want to be able to have in pans, but I don't necessarily have a place for them in another palette. Let me scoochie this over. And like this one is full almost. It is. There's a couple colors missing that are actually 3 of them that are in my carry-all to go to my watercolor class and back. We were doing something where I thought they might be something people would like to use. So that one is really full. This one is full, and this one is getting the new things that I've accumulated. And I try to remember to write them on the little box here, the little palette pan, so that I know what it is. But that's what these are, and they're kind of fun. But those are just magnet, like I was saying, the other ones weren't. These all have magnets on the bottom and just go that way. So you can tell they're newer than the ones that were stuck down, unless it was plastic and I had to stick it down. This was a little bitty palette that my sister made me, and I filled it with my Schminky granulating paints, same ones that are in here. And it's a nice little travel size of granulating paint. This is also in the same case that one is in, and this is got some, this is out of an old correcting typewriter stuff, the stuff you would stick in to correct your little sheets, to correct when you made a boo-boo back in the day when we used to type on typewriters. And I repurposed it and put some extra colors that I wanted to have along with that, and along with my main palette for this little case was this one. And this gave me some extra color choices, and this gave me my granulating choices. And they don't take up much room, and they go in a cute little kit that I use when we go to restaurants and stuff. While we're waiting for our food to come or waiting to order, my husband has one too, and we'll sit there and paint. And that's what those are. And then I made this little guy, and it used to be in a little bag in my purse. And it is also out of a little makeup container. When I don't need the makeup anymore or it's old, I just don't know what to do with them. I have to make a palette. That's just what I've been doing. Then I got this cute little box with this cute little insert in it. And I replaced this kit or this palette with this palette. So this now goes in the little bag that goes in my purse sometimes, because it takes up very little room, and it's got more colors. And I put white here so I could use it as mixing space. And I painted on the top of it so it'd be cute. So that's that one. This one I saw on Lindsay Wyrick's Frugal Crafter channel, and I thought, well, this is really cute. I just love the way it flops out, and you have 2 mixing surfaces. And I painted on that too, so that I could have a mixing surface there. I did chop all the paint out and put in my own colors because the paint wasn't very good. But the little palette is super duper cute. So that hangs off my purse during the warmer months. In the winter, I don't worry about it so much because I'm rarely sitting outside waiting to get in somewhere and want to paint in the winter. It's just too cold winter here. These are just rehomed. These are my Kuretake paints. This one is their granulating set, and they fit just perfectly in this old tin I got at an antique store. I look for things like this when I'm out, if we're out at an antique store or a second-hand shop or something. I love these old tins that I can put things in. I have this other really cute one that I had. This is non-filling typewriter ribbons before my time. And I had my beam paints in there, but they outgrew it. So something else will go in here eventually. But I like having that kind of thing available. And then these I bought on Amazon, these tins, specifically for this, but I use them for other things now. I've painted this with white, and I've rehomed my Art Nouveau set of Kuretake paint, Gonzai Tambi paints, and I painted the tops to match the colors of the paint inside, if I can get him to open. And the box came banged up, so I kind of really wanted to move them into a nicer place. This box came fine, but it wasn't the kind of box that was easy to open and shut, so this works really nicely for both those things, both those sets. Since it worked so nice the first time, I figured I would go ahead and do it that way for the second time too. Let me finish watercolor. These are my little bitty watercolor sets. Let's see. This one was the first one I had, and these I basically did just fill, but I loved this so much. I did that. I have a little Velcro on here, and I have a little cup that I can hook to it that's got Velcro on it. And I bought this really cute little notebook because I was watching Emma Jane LaFave, and she did a thing on 100% cotton watercolor paper that you could get on Amazon, and she really liked this book, although it was pricey. I think it was $20 for this little bitty book. But it's really nice paper, and I really enjoy it, and I've enjoyed using it. I had a good time painting at doctor's offices and on the beach, and that was a little house display at a restaurant. They had a little Christmas houses display, waiting for our food, waiting for our food again. That was on the wall at a restaurant. I really like this little thing. There's not a lot of commitment because it's pretty small. So I liked this so much. And I'm sure you've seen this. Just hook this to whichever side you're not painting on with the clip. That I decided last fall it would be fun to do seasonal palettes in these because they're so tiny and they're so cheap, and I thought that would be really a fun thing to do. So I did that recently, and I have a video on it and how I picked the colors I picked and why I picked the colors I picked and all that. And that's what these are. I have winter, spring, summer, and fall, and I'm using them currently to paint the pictures in this Light Wish calendar. And so January and February and March are going to be all with the winter palette, and then 3 for the spring, 3 summers, and 3 falls. So I hope to be doing that all year. And I have really enjoyed these little palettes. They were a lot of fun to make too. So that is all the watercolor I'm going to show you. And now I have the gouache. And I have 2 gouache, well, I have 3 gouache kits. I have one that has the big things in it that where you peel the rubbery top off and they stay kind of wet. I don't really enjoy using it. And I watched Sarah Burns make dry gouache palettes, and I thought, maybe I would like that better. So I made a dry gouache palette of warm colors and cool colors. And I have really enjoyed using these. They've got nice big spaces. I made them out of these credit card holders. We cut the end of it off with a little X-Acto knife and wiggled it back and forth so it came off, and then sanded it so it wouldn't be sharp. Painted this for mixing space and filled it with these little pans. And I really enjoy using this. But I had lots more colors, and I had lots more room in the thing that I keep it in. So I just picked out some other colors that I wanted to have, and I have not painted on the top of this one yet. These, of course, were painted on with alcohol ink in warm colors and cool colors, so I know which one is in which. And I really enjoy using those. And then I have another little watercolor. I have another little gouache kit that's a little bit smaller, that's got smaller paper and stuff in it. And that I put this kit together, painted on the top, painted there with the white, and I got this on Amazon, and it is a dried wash palette. The only thing I can say about this one is when you want to use that as mixing space, these are kind of in the way. Like, it's hard to get to that color and mix at the same time. So, and that would be true if it was watercolors too. But it's really cute, and you can fit a lot of colors in there. And I could fit like probably a couple more colors in there at least, maybe even 3 more colors in there. Anyway, so that one goes in a different place that's a little more portable. It's a little smaller than this one's kit. This goes in my Powerpuff Girls bag. So it's got a little bit more space in it. So those are the gouache palettes that I put together. And now for the oddball ones, I have these 2 little guys. And these are alcohol ink palettes, which I have videos on these too in I will try and link in the description any of these that there's videos for, which usually there is something that you can get more information about them on another video. And these are just different alcohol inks that you just drop in there and you let it dry. And it takes a while to dry for the alcohol to evaporate. And then you just reconstitute it with a little bit of alcohol on a brush. So I have this little glass vial I got on Amazon. I got like a 12-pack. And it will stay sealed and hold this little bit of alcohol because you only need a teensy-weensy little bit. And you can paint with them. And what I like about it is it's very quick. So if we're sitting down at a restaurant, instead of going on my phone, I can pull one of these out and I can paint a little painting really quick, and it's very enjoyable. I made these little books out of little Yupo paper pads and just punched holes in them and put them on a ring binder. And I try to paint a few of them and then take them home and spray them with some fixatives, Kamar, and then UV sprays so that they're a little bit more stable. And it's really fun. This book is actually almost empty, almost done. So, but it just takes a few minutes and you can sit down and paint while you're waiting, and it's just fun. So I really enjoy these. They're very quick. They don't take up a lot of room. The kit they're in is about this big, and it's different. It's a lot of fun. And last but not least, I have my pastel kit, and this is my travel pastel kit. And it's just got the little bits of pastels in it. Doesn't have every color that I have, but it has a lot. And I can kind of pull out what I'm using and set it on that part. And it's great for plein air. If I go out to do a pastel work in plein air, I bring this. I bring this little sketchbook I made. That's watercolor on the front. And then I have glassine paper, and I can paint with the pastels, and then it just gets covered with the glassine paper, so I don't have to worry about it, and make this little sketchbook. This is sanded paper. I think a lot of it is Fisher 400, or there's another one that is sanded paper, but it stays really flat. I will link it in the description because the name is evading me right now. But you can see how it works. It's a lot of fun because pastels are a lot of fun out on the, plein airing. That was out on the beach. I think, oh, there's another one. I have a crow for Halloween. I think he's the last, yeah. So this is a lot of fun. This is my second one of these that I've gone through with this little kit. And it has been a pleasure to have. So I hope this maybe sparked some creative juices in you to get out there and start looking at different containers and things that you have that you might repurpose into a painting palette. And If it did, let me know. I would love to hear about it in the comments. And I really do appreciate your being here, especially stick it out till this very end part. And if you would like to, please check out my Etsy shop where I have prints of my artwork along with cute little monsters and other fun stuff for sale.